coaches with no national titles ranked ahead of Josh Heupel. Now, this according to 247 Sports. And I don't have a problem with two of the names that might surprise you. But the three ahead of Josh Heupel are Steve Sarkisian, Mike Norvell, and Ryan Day. Ryan Day, even though you and I see holes in that, has accomplished more than Josh Heupel to this point. I got no problem with that. Steve Sarkisian, I think it's a coin flip. If I were an AD, I would hire Josh Heupel over Sarkisian, but I think that's a coin flip. And then Mike Norvell kind of surprises me. What do you make of those three cats being ahead of Josh Heupel? If you're an AD, in what order are they on your list as your next head football coach?
They're all behind Josh Heupel to me. I think the coin flip are the other three. So the other three are Lincoln Riley, Brian Kelly, and Jim Harbaugh. Lincoln Riley's my coin flip. I got Brian Kelly and Jim Harbaugh maybe a little bit ahead of Heupel. I think Heupel is clear-cut significantly better than Ryan Day, Mike Norvell, and Steve Sarkisian. And I think Steve Sarkisian and Mike Norvell, those bother me the most. Mike Norvell just stands out to me the worst. I mean, again, the guy had 1-10-3 season at Florida State, and we're acting like he's Nick Saban down there now. I mean, I think he's the most overrated coach on this list, and I'm having trouble figuring out who's more overrated between him, Sark, and Ryan Day, because I just think all three of them. I think people are figuring out that Ryan Day is overrated, but they're still ranking him based on accomplishments. But Dave, if you're starting a program, Ryan Day's nowhere near the first person I'm calling if you're trying to rebuild a program.
I'm gonna debate that with you, and I'm gonna tell you why. And it's brought to you by Craft Treats. Go to crafttreats.com. They've got the chill pills with the CBD derivative. Please use the promo code Off the Hook. That's Off the Hook. It'd be nice if we get all these promo codes to be the same one, but Off the Hook, and you'll get 20% off. They've got the chill pills with the CBD that helps with your pet's arthritis, also can help with your pet's anxiety, and help with your pet's digestive issues. Again, crafttreats.com. Use the promo code Off the Hook. Caleb, I think we sometimes forget that Ryan Day took over that Ohio State program when Urban Meyer was essentially disgraced and being shown the door. They handled it publicly as classy as they could, but that was their move. Josh Heupel's took over a program that was a complete disarray. I think that sometimes you sell Ryan Day short a little bit on what he's done. Do we think he's an upper level head coach, like a multiple championship winning head coach like Kirby Smart or Nick Saban? No. But don't we have to give Ryan Day a little bit more credit for keeping that ship going in the right direction in a serious transition period where it could have gone south?
No, because I don't think it's that hard to keep the. No, I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's that hard to keep the Ohio State ship going. Okay, I'm going to say this. I've said a million times LSU's the best job in America, and that's why Ed Orgeron could win a national championship there. I don't think Ed Orgeron could win a national championship at Ohio State, but I bet he could win a Big Ten title every year. Just because of the nature of recruiting in Ohio State and the lack of competition in the Big Ten. And I'm sorry, this day and age with recruiting, going 2 years in a row without a Big Ten title is a major, major black mark on Ryan. You should win it at least every other year if you're Ryan Day. And look, Dave, come on, be honest, between me and you. How much better of a job is Ohio State than Michigan? I think significantly.
Yes, significantly. Michigan has a little bit of that we're too good to be playing football sort of thing. And Ohio State fully accepts it in that state. And really, there are NFL teams there but I've worked with a group out of Ohio, and they're dialed into Ohio State. I'm not sure that Michigan's not split between other teams, even the Lions. And yeah, I think Ohio State's on a significantly higher level, despite what happened last year, than Michigan as far as a football factory that can keep it going. Ohio State just has a ton of talent, Caleb, in that state.
Yes, and also Detroit kids are about as loyal to Michigan as Memphis kids are to Tennessee, quite honestly, if you know the lay of the land with recruiting up there. I mean, they don't – inner city Detroit feels no connection to the Michigan or Michigan State schools whatsoever. They don't care. Now, they might with basketball. I bet Detroit kids probably like to go play for Michigan State and Tom Izzo in basketball. But outside of that, they don't care in football. And so they'll go anywhere. And, yeah, Ohio State, they go from Cleveland to Cincinnati to Columbus, and they get anybody they want anywhere in between. And I think Ohio State is – I think because of how easy a job it is and because of the fact that you're in the Big Ten, I don't think it's that hard to win the way he's been winning. And I do think it's a major – I think it's yes. Now, to be fair, he played Alabama for the national title in 2020. That season doesn't count. That was the COVID year. I'm not counting anything that happened that year. But outside of that year, hasn't won a college football playoff game. Now, again, I'm going to give him a shout out. Josh Pate brings up a great point. Ohio State almost beat Georgia. If they almost beat Georgia this year, we're having a totally different conversation about Ryan Day. And I'll fully concede that. But I just think that, look, I think he should have done more to this point. I think Ohio State is way too easy of a job to win it.
Especially given that they're in that conference. I mean, you could make an argument that LSU and Ohio State are easier, but LSU has easier to win, but LSU has the toughest schedule year in and year out.
By far, bar none. They play in the SEC West. And now, you can make an argument for Georgia because there is a debate between the SEC East or the Big Ten East. Because until last year, until Josh Heupel got Tennessee back, the East was really bad. But it's a little bit different now. But the question becomes Sarkisian or another question. Dave, am I wrong in thinking Sarkisian is overrated too? Where is this idea that he's an offensive genius? Because I haven't seen it.
No, I'm with you there. I think he's a solid coach. Does he have the sort of insight and the sort of creativity and innovation that a Josh Heupel does? Or, I know we're getting ready to talk about Gus Malzahn and Kevin Sumlin. Does he even have that innovation? I don't watch his offense and think, wow, they're doing different things. Never once. Have you?
No, never. I saw standard pro style offense, which again, if you're going to do that, in college, you got to have the Jimmies and Joes, and Texas still hasn't recruited the Jimmies and Joes just yet. No one wants to point that out, but they don't have Jimmies and Joes on the level of Alabama or Georgia, and so you can't. I mean, that's a problem. And yeah, Mike Norvell. I think, but the clear one, Mike Norvell has no business on this list. That's laughable.
Now, before we get to is Josh Heupel just a splash guy? Can I share a story real quick? I was talking to Philip Fulmer during my vacation and finish up the book finally. And he said that he was going, I think this is so Philip and so funny. He was going to his grandson's practice. And he said essentially he was making sure they don't tackle to the ground in summer. So I'm thinking to myself driving down the road, how would you like to be a coach and have Philip Fulmer standing on the sidelines and his grandson is on your team? There's no way you're not thinking he's looking over your shoulder, right?
Yeah, of course he's looking exactly. Of course he's looking over your shoulder. Particularly given what we know about Philip Fulmer now and what you told me. He basically towards the end of his career at coaching, he was wanting to be a CEO who still was always looking over your shoulder at the same time, wasn't he?
Yes. Absolutely. And yeah, I got a chance to talk to him. And by the way, got a book coming out. I'm excited about Celebrate 98 and finishing it up. And one of the things that he told me is that they were not allowed to speak to any of the Florida State players throughout the year. And where did he learn that? Tom Osborne the year before with Nebraska, who he's always looked up to. But the last day they told them that they could just say whatever they wanted to. And they got in Florida State's face at an event. They have all these team events. It's just great story. Hopefully I do an adequate job of telling it.